You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Friday, August 14th. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Johnny Kahner. Thank you for watching and listening to Four Things to Know today. Let's get to our top story. Guilty. That's the plea today in federal court for the man charged with shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson back in 2024 in New York. Luigi Mangione was charged with 2 counts of stalking resulting in death. They carried a potential life sentence. Mangione still faces separate murder charges in a New York state case. Here's more from CBS News' legal contributor, Jessica Levinson.
There's also the third bucket possibility here that the defense knew this was a very strong federal case. And what they're trying to do, even though I think this is a difficult battle, I think what they're trying to do is say he's already been prosecuted for this course of conduct. So the state cause of action, the state murder charge cannot continue.
The family of victim Brian Thompson released a statement today saying, quote, "Today's guilty plea marks an important step toward justice for Brian and for our family. While nothing will ease the pain of losing him, we are grateful that the federal justice system has held the person responsible for this heinous act accountable. Now we look to the court to ensure that the sentencing reflects the severity of this crime. We remain mindful that additional proceedings in New York and Pennsylvania are still to come, and we will continue to seek the justice Brian deserves," end quote. The state case in New York is set to begin in just a few weeks. The district attorney handling the case says they are still moving forward. Sentencing for Mangione in the federal case is set for December. Number 2, more than a dozen people are charged with interfering with agents during Minnesota's ice surge. But now new court documents claim the feds were spying on them. Our Connor White has been digging through those documents today. Here's his report from Minneapolis.
Looking at this case, this is involving those 15 people that you mentioned accused of conspiring against the federal government to impede the immigration crackdown this past winter. One of their defense attorneys demanded more evidence, unveiling information about a program dubbed Operation Puppet Master. Now, according to these government documents, undercover Homeland Security officers posed as protesters to spy on community meetings at churches, parks, libraries, and schools. The defense states that these specific operations started on January 28th. That's 4 days after Border Patrol shot and killed Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. But some surveillance began as early as November of last year. HSI also went after years' worth of financial records for local activist organizations and major labor unions. The executive director of Unidos, a group that urged peaceful protests this past winter, says she found out HSI spied on one of their meetings in December. She said at the time she had her suspicions.
During the training, I said that if there were any ICE officers in the room, they were welcome to stay because what we were doing was constitutional, grounded on First Amendment, and we had nothing to hide.
These documents indicate that HSI agreed, at least at the time, noting that there was no reason to follow up with that organization back in early December. The DOJ has yet to respond to comment. As for HSI, they said that they don't comment on ongoing investigations or methods.
Your third thing to know, we're following some changes to the controversial flock cameras. Flock Safety CEO Garrett Langley is announcing some changes to how those will operate. These changes come as more Minnesota communities are parting ways with the automatic license plate reading cameras. Yesterday, for the first time, Langley apologized for instances where data collected by flock cameras has been misused. Those include some cases where police officers allegedly used the technology to stalk women. He says the company is rolling out changes to its system, and those changes include cutting down the time data will be retained to just 7 days, but it will be saved longer if deemed evidence in an investigation. Flock's customers can also limit which type of offenses outside agencies can search for in its system. And law enforcement will have a tool that will aim to flag abnormal search behavior. Here's more from the CEO.
I think hindsight is a brutal tool. But hindsight tends to be very clear. And I think, of course, we could have done more earlier. And we listen and we learn and we'll continue to move forward because until everyone has an equal level of safety in this country, we have work to do.
Still, several Minnesotan cities are cutting the cord with the controversial cameras, and online there's continued backlash. We'll keep you updated. Your fourth thing to know today, a big announcement from the Minnesota Timberwolves today. Franchise icon Kevin Garnett will finally get his jersey retired. It's the last step in healing the rift between the franchise and its greatest player ever. Garnett's number 21 will rise to the rafters on February 28th of next season. It will be after a game against the Boston Celtics. That's, of course, who the Wolves traded Garnett to and where KG won his only championship. Garnett released a statement today saying in part, quote, "Minnesota is home. That's never changed. This is where it all started for me. So seeing number 21 go up in Target Center and sharing that moment with the fans, my family, teammates, coaches, and everyone who's been a part of this journey means everything." And this day comes years after a very public feud between Garnett and former Wolves owner Glenn Taylor. But this will finally happen, something that Wolves fans have been clamoring for a very long time. That will be quite the special night. Those are the four things to know today. Let's get a check-in now on our weekend forecast.
Happy Friday, guys. Thanks for the meteorologist Adam Del Rosso checking in. It's going to be a little on the unsettled side as we head through our Friday night and into the first half of our weekend. A little storm system moving up from Iowa is going to lead to a couple of spotty showers overnight tonight. It's not going to be a washout of a night or a washout for our Saturday either, but we're going to keep those hit or miss showers around. Temperatures overnight tonight falling down to near 70. We're not going to climb much tomorrow with a little bit more in the way of cloud cover and those hit or miss showers. We'll find our highs right around 80 degrees. Sunday, high pressure finally moves back in, clears out the clouds. It's going to clear out the humidity. And we're going to keep our high temperatures pretty seasonable, right around 80.
And now, here's more to know.
We're learning new details about what led up to a double murder-suicide on Wednesday at a Hopkins daycare. Newly released documents reveal there were, quote, relationship issues between the suspect and his wife before a family tragedy that shocked two suburban cities. About 2 weeks ago, a parent with a connection to that in-home daycare in Hopkins said she received a notice from the owner. That notice said the owner planned to close the daycare due to relationship troubles with her husband. It was that husband who killed her and their 7-year-old daughter, along with a 78-year-old relative before taking his own life. Advocates for domestic violence survivors say while it's a horrifying story, it's not a surprising one. Violence-Free Minnesota says family murder-suicides happen once every 5 days in the United States. The vast majority of the time in these violent incidents, men are killing women. And 85% of that time, that man uses a gun. And that's where, according to these new court documents, this case is unusual. WCCO spoke with Nikki Engel. She's a co-executive director of Violence-Free Minnesota. Engel says the alleged perpetrator may have felt he was losing control. She also says that attempts to leave a relationship are associated with higher rates of lethality. About 50% of the time in instances of murder-suicide, the suspect does not have any prior criminal convictions. And that's the case here, but that does not necessarily mean the abuse began with murder.
Homicide is the culmination and escalation of abuse, not a moment where there was nothing to point to it beforehand.
Engel says it's also common for other family members to be targeted in these crimes. Violence-Free Minnesota is a coalition of organizations that help survivors. You can call their 24/7 number at any time. That number is 866-223-1111. You can also go to thehotline.org for places to find help across Minnesota. Investigators are searching for a man who escaped the courtroom before a judge could sentence him for a deadly crime. This happened a few months ago. Lorenzo Washington pleaded guilty to a crash that killed someone at a St. Paul church. It started with a traffic stop back in 2024. A trooper stopped Washington for speeding on I-94, but then Washington took off. Now, there was a chase until Washington crashed into a car parked at Gustavus Adolphus Lutheran Church. The 36-year-old man inside that car died. Washington's sentencing was scheduled for Thursday morning, but court documents say he showed up but then fled the courtroom prior to sentencing. Now there's a warrant out for his arrest. Well, changing gears now, this may be hard to believe, but fall harvest season is here. I don't want to hear that, but it's sadly the truth. And of course, that means lots of apple orchards and other spots are getting ready to open for the season. Now, fall is my favorite season of the year, but every time it comes around, I'm just like, oh my gosh, how quickly did summer leave us? So Good and bad, I guess. But our Shayla Reeves went out to Ferguson's Family Farms this morning. Check this out.
It's kind of fall year round for us. This is what we do, but tomorrow, Saturday, is when it really starts and we get to have everyone out to the farm. There's so much to do here. You can really spend a whole day. So this is our back 40 pedal cart track. So even adults can race around on them. Maybe I'll take you on after this.
And besides racing around that track, you can also play in the corn pit, jump on the pumpkin pad, get lost in the corn maze, so much more out there. They do open for the season tomorrow, which is Saturday. You can learn about times and pricing online on their website. Here's something you don't hear every day. There's a private island for sale here in Minnesota. Yeah, you heard that right. It's actually a rare opportunity to own one of Lake Minnetonka's own private islands. The property on Gale Island includes a 3-bedroom summer house originally built all the way back in 1874. There's also a main house and a guest house, and the island itself is 2 acres, but it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Listen to this. The asking price, $7.25 million. Yeah, $7,250,000. Whew, a little out of my range. How about like $20? Let's get to sports. It's still training camp. I'm really ready for the Vikings regular season, but we got to get through, 3 more weeks, basically a month at this point. But we do have clarity, of course, at quarterback. We actually spoke with Carson Wentz, though, who's slated to be the Vikings' number 3 quarterback. It was quite the year last year for him. Injuries, battling through it, playing for kind of his hometown team. Fun story to follow. And he's only had 5 games under center for the Vikings before he got hurt, but now he's barely taking any reps in training camp as well. And he still says he's learning the offense.
Last year, I don't feel like I ever really knew the whole playbook. Like, you learn for the game and kind of deleted it for the next week. It's kind of just how the nature of this business is. But now I have a full grasp of the concepts and the entirety of the playbook, and feel way more comfortable in understanding Coach O'Connell's mind too, and just how he sees the game.
Twins lost last night at the Field of Dreams 7-1. The scenery was much better than the product on the field. They host the Phillies tomorrow night at Target Field. The Lynx are back in action also tomorrow night. They're in Vegas.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
This is just hilarious. The Atlanta Hawks revealed their NBA schedule in a very unique way, thanks to a 12-year-old with an unbelievable skill. Listen to this.
Hi, my name's Samuel Henderson, and I do bird calls. The Hawks' schedule just dropped today, so I'm going to do their opponents as birds. The rock pigeon. Bald eagle.
It's literally insane. Samuel is able to accurately imitate over 100 different bird species, and each team was assigned a bird for the announcement. And if you're wondering, of course, Minnesota was a loon. Now, I had seen his stuff on YouTube before. My brother actually just showed this to me earlier this week. This kid is unbelievable. It is insane how he can make those noises and the bird calls. I bet you if he went out somewhere in the woods, he would confuse the heck out of all the birds, because just unreal. What a talent. He should keep doing it. Well, before we go today, a reminder, 2 weeks from today, we're doing a live show out at the fair. It's going to be about 12:45. Come watch the new newscast and then join Maria and I. We're going to have a special guest as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm Johnny Kahner saying so long. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.